We are live. I just picked up this book, The Creative Art, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And yeah, I've been reading about Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is a really funny guy. There's an interview of him where the interviewer is like, "Do you have any technical skills?" I'm paraphrasing this. I don't remember anything, but he's like, "Do you have any technical skills? Do you know how to make music? Do you know how to do this? Blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "No, I just got taste. I just know taste. That's all." Okay, this is one quote from this book. If you're open and stay tuned to what's happening, the answers will be revealed. I read some pretty funny stuff over here. So, in one, like, he's kind of so far, I don't actually haven't looked at the index. I just randomly open a page and I read whatever's there. And in one chapter, it was about that, okay, go beat your pillow 5 times really hard, go really hard, and then start writing. Start writing. And it's for artists to write lyrics. And then he's like, start writing whatever comes to your, whatever flows, whatever you're thinking, whatever is in your subconscious. Like beating is a way to really activate your entire body. And once you've activated, just like start writing, and whatever is in your subconscious, let it get out. Do not direct, do not direct, do not edit, just write. So that was one. The other one, I think this was way back, which is about that sometimes to change music. I don't know what the goal was, but it was like play the same music but hanging upside down or upside down, something like that. But yeah, it's very interesting what Rick Rubin has showed people. I don't know if he was famous before. I don't know if he was so mainstream and a lot of people knew about him and his methods before his book came out, before his podcast came out. Yeah, but this is very interesting. Okay, let's see. Here's Rick Rubin. Yeah, this is one of the famous podcasts. This is the interview. This is the famous interview. Let's see. Does he have it over here? One of the most talented music producers of his generation, certainly one of the most interesting at 59. He's worked with just about every top recording artist across all genres. In an industry geared towards churning out hits, Rubin's focus is on feelings and helping artists get in touch with their musical selves. If that sounds somewhat mystical, that's just fine with Rick Rubin. After all, his story studio in California is named Shangri La, and he's been called the guru by more than a few of the artists he's worked with. In fact, before our interview even began, Rubin crossed his legs, closed his eyes, and then suggested we do the same. Should we spend 2 minutes, eyes closed, meditating before we start? Anderson Cooper, sure. Just to like really get here, sure. Okay, let's do that. That's a first. Nice. Yeah. Does meditation help you creatively? It clears the distractions. Say the distractions can get in the way with a direct connection to the creative force. Rick Rubin is definitely in tune with his creative force. Over the last 4 decades, he's produced albums and songs with more than 120 artists. He's helped launch careers LL Cool J and Public Enemy among them, and he's often the go to guy for artists at the top of their game like Adele. But exactly what he does and how is difficult to describe. Anderson Cooper, do you play instruments? Barely. Do you know how to work a soundboard? No, I have no technical ability, and I know nothing. I know nothing about music. Anderson Cooper, laugh. You must know something. Well, I know what I like and what I don't like. And I am decisive about what I like and what I don't like. So what are you being paid for? The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel have proven helpful for artists. This is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for, and we got it. Well, I know what I like and what I don't like, And I am decisive about what I like and what I don't like. So what are you being paid for? The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for artists. Shangri-La Studios. Wow. California. Artists are eager to make the pilgrimage to Shangri-La Studios in Malibu to work with Rubin. To work with Rubin. Anderson Cooper, how many studios do you have here? There's the main control room here with the live room. The place is minimalist to say the least. There's no mirrors, no TVs, no signs of Rick Rubin's extraordinary success. The place is minimalist to say the least. There are no mirrors, no TVs, no signs of Rick Rubin's extraordinary success. Anderson Cooper. I never been in a recording studio where there's no gold records and Grammys. Do you have like a tiny ego room somewhere? I don't. I used to send them all to my parents, and I don't know where they are now. It's a distraction. If you start thinking about doing something to achieve that, then you are not focused on this, making this beautiful thing. It undermines the purity of the project. This is so cool. Just last stream, we were talking about Madeline Brando, who was kind of not really satisfied with what was going on in Hollywood and how Hollywood had, he felt that Hollywood was just, it wasn't pure. The art wasn't pure. It was just a machine which was churning out content. But over here, Rick Rubin has actually made it successful. He believes in the purity of the project and he's able to make money from it. This makes sense. This is what people want, what artists really want. They want to be able to make art and make money. I'm thinking about a quote. Somebody said that art without business is victimization. Business without art is waste of time. Something like that. Hmm. Business without art is just a waste of time. Something like that. That was really cool. Okay. It's a distraction. If you start thinking about something to achieve that, then you are not focused on this, making this beautiful thing, and it undermines the purity of the project. You're going back to the key, and we are going back to the tempo. Rubin has referred to himself as a reducer instead of producer. I like the idea of getting the point across with the least amount of information possible. I like the idea of getting the point across with the least amount of information possible. Anderson Cooper. And that's what you're doing in a recording studio. You are listening to music, to sound, and trying to strip it just to see what is actually necessary. Getting it down to that essence to start with is really helpful in understanding what it is. On our first day, he brought us in on a jam session with saxophone great Kamasi Washington. What are you listening for? Like right now, there's what? Chimes, piano? Yeah, I'm not listening to any of those things. Okay, what are you listening to? I'm listening to the feeling. How do you listen to a feeling? Well, my body's moving. I feel that melody awaken something in me. There's something familiar about it. Bro, he's just lying. He's just lying on the bed, Ruben at work. But my body's moving. I feel that melody awakens something in me. There's something familiar about it. But I don't think I've heard it before. The feeling of familiarity is a good feeling. If you haven't noticed by now, Rick Rubin talks a lot about feelings. I feel that melody awakens something in me. There's something familiar about it, but I don't think I've heard it before. The feeling of familiarity is a good feeling. While my body's moving, I feel that melody awakens something in me. There's something familiar about it, but I don't think I've heard it before. The feeling of familiarity is a good feeling. If you haven't noticed by now, Rick Rubin talks a lot about feelings. My aim is not to have my presence felt. unless it's necessary, unless it's helpful. His presence is laid back, literally. He usually listens lying down and barefoot, with his eyes shut. You might think he was napping. Rick Rubin. I will try to listen as closely as I possibly can. And when my eyes are closed, I feel like I'm there with the music. It may seem like work, but Rubin hears things and senses things other producers don't. Back in 93, a few stray guitar chords on a Tom Petty demo tape caught his attention. Tom sent me demos of about five new songs, and none of them really struck me, honestly. None of them spoke to me. But that guitar riff that opens the song was something that was played between two of the songs, just like a warm up. I drove to Tom's house and I played it for him. And I said, listen to this piece. I feel like this is the best thing on the tape. Write this one. And that turned into Last Chance with Mary Jane. That's gotta be hard, though. You come back saying, I like the thing that happened accidentally in between two of these songs. That's a tough sell sometimes, isn't it? I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just sharing what I'm feeling. Like if they don't want to do it, it's fine. Rubin is now sharing what he's learned in a book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, out this week. It's his guide to harnessing creativity, is something he figured out how to do his sophomore year at New York University in 1982. His parents wanted him to be a lawyer, but Rubin had another idea. He decided the dorm is gonna be the studio. It's gonna be the DJ booth, drum machine, pre-production, music area. Yes. Did your roommate have any say in that? He didn't, but he loved it. He was going out every night. He wasn't into booze or drugs. He says the music is what drew him, and hip hop was just starting to make some noise. What was it about hip hop that attracted you? This kid from Long Island at NYU. It wasn't made by people who went to the music conservatory. It was made by kids who felt something. But the few hip hop records Rubin could get his hands on didn't sound like what he heard in the clubs. In a hip hop club, the music was made by the DJ, scratching records, or playing break beats, or using drum machines, or some combination. And then there would be a rapper or a group of rappers, and the records that came out were always a band playing. And that wasn't what, to me, what hip hop was. So Rubin persuaded rapper T. La Rock and DJ Jazzy J to let him produce a record that captured the way they sounded live. The stripped down sound got noticed, and Rubin teamed up with music manager Russell Simmons. You had a meeting in your dorm room? I had all my meetings at the dorm room. I met with Run DMC in the dorm room. I met with everybody at the dorm room. The dorm became the headquarters for Def Jam recordings. The New York University know that you were operating not just a side hustle, like that you were operating a business out of the school. Eventually, it became an issue because over time, as Def Jam grew, the entire mailroom was filled with boxes of records to be shipped out. His senior year, Rubin was working with Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, and a teenage LL Cool J. And after he graduated, Def Jam landed a seven-figure distribution deal with Columbia Records. Rubin was, oh, this is crazy. Like he was doing this when he was 17, 18, 19. And I know about Rick Rubin today when he's 59. That's crazy. Rubin was always looking for new talent. He heard a jingle from a college radio show and tracked down the rapper Chuck D, who wrote it, and convinced him to sign with Def Jam. That's how the groundbreaking group Public Enemy got started. What kind of an impact? What kind of an impact do you think Rick had on hip hop? Chuck D. Oh, shh. Rick Rubin is one of the pillar stones of hip hop. He didn't pioneer the production, he didn't pioneer the rap, but he pioneered a certain energy for it to be daring. Rubin left Def Jam in 88. In 88. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, shh. Rick Rubin is one of the pillar stones of hip hop. He didn't pioneer the production, he didn't pioneer the rap, but he pioneered a certain energy for it to be daring. Rubin left Def Jam in 1988 and set up shop in California producing Slayer and other heavy metal bands and well established artists. Johnny Cash credited him with reviving his career. The first time I got to see him was at a dinner theater in Orange County. It just seemed like the world had passed him by, and he believed the world had passed him by. Rubin looked around for lyrics that would suit the man in black. He picked a 9-inch Nails song called Hurt. Cash made it his own. Wow, that's incredible. It sounded honest. It's brutally honest. It's brutally honest. It's brutally honest. Hurt became one of Johnny Cash's most popular songs, and over the course of a decade, they made 7 albums together. Hmm. Johnny Cash credited him with reviving his career. Rubin looked around for lyrics that would suit the man in black. He picked a 9-inch Nails song called Hurt. Cash made it his own. Wow, wow. He shows up in all these different genres and helps the real sound of those genres emerge. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rick Rubin has always been a little Bruce Lee, Zenish. I can't teach you, but I can help you explore yourself, that type of thing. He's always been a little Bruce Lee, Zenish. I can't teach you, but I can help you explore yourself, that type of thing. Chuck D, like the rest of us, is still trying to figure out exactly how Rick Rubin does what he does. Keisha, wow. Chuck D, you Anderson. Rick was on the couch, and I was wondering, we are in the booth. I'm wondering, is he asleep or awake or what? And then makes a couple suggestions, boom, 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 and sure enough, it unfolds itself. I'm like, dudes, he just did some Rick Rubin shit to us. We watched him do that with pop singer Keisha. She was recording with a gospel choir. Choir. This was her first time being guided by the guru. Working with him has been genuinely life changing. He gave me like homework assignments. What homework assignments? I was writing a song and I couldn't articulate what I needed to say, and he was like, "Go home and write a full essay about everything you need to say until you can't write anymore." And then the song kind of started forming itself. Go home, go home, and write a full essay about everything you need to say until you can't write anymore. So what he's not so he's not saying this, let's make a gold record that's gonna do this in sales, and God no. He was like, I just want to make good music. And I was like, that's so crazy. Let's make a gold record that's gonna do this in sales, and God no. He was like, I just want to make good music. And I was like, that's so crazy. The audience comes last. How can that be? Well, the audience doesn't know what they want. The audience only knows what what's come before. The audience only knows what's come before. Isn't the whole music business built around trying to figure out what somebody likes? Maybe for someone else it is, but it's not for me. Making music is of course a business, but whether he's working with Malian singer Omu Sangare Kesha or Johnny Cash, Rick Rubin insists for him it's always been a deeply emotional pursuit. We are trying to tap into a feeling. We are trying to tap into something that makes you want to lean forward and pay more attention. And I'm giving cues to look for in yourself because it all has to do with the artist. But I mean, that does sound very spiritual. It is. No, it is. The whole thing is spiritual, it is magic. And you don't want somebody who's listening to music to think, oh, that's a Rick Rubin record. No, no, I want them to say this is the best thing I've ever heard and not know why. Wow. I want them to say this is the best thing I've ever heard and not know why. Feeling. Look at this picture. This is the best thing I've ever heard and not know why. American record producer known for his significant contributions to the music industry across various genres. Born in a Jewish family in Long Beach, grew up in Lido Beach. His early musical influences include heavy metal and punk, leading him to form a punk band called The Pricks during his time at Long Beach High School. While studying at New York University, he became deeply involved in the burgeoning hip hop scene, producing his first single It's Yours by T. La Rock and Jazzy J in '83. He co founded Def Jam Recordings with Russell Simmons in '84, initially operating from his dormitory room. Their first hit was I Need a Beat, which sold 100,000 copies. Success led to a contract with Columbia Records, expanding their roster to include influential acts like the Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, and Run DMC. Departure from Def Jam and Def American. '88, he left Def Jam over disagreements about the label structure and moved to Los Angeles to start Def American Recordings. His first artists included heavy metal bands like Slayer and Danzig. Production style and influence. His production style is characterized by a minimalist approach, focusing on the essence of the music rather than elaborate production techniques. His work with artists like the Red Hot Chili Peppers on Blood Sugar Sex Magic solidified his reputation as a producer who enhances the inherent qualities of the artist's work. His collaboration with Johnny Cash in '90s, particularly on American records, revitalized Cash's career and showcased Rubin's ability to transcend genres. Won 8 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year for his work with the Chicks in 2007 and Adele in 2012. MTV called him the most important producer of the last 20 years, and Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Rubin is also mentioned into film, serving as music supervisor for Less Than Zero and producing its soundtrack. He portrayed a character based on himself in the hip hop film Krush Groove and directed Tougher Than Leather with Run DMC. He's been involved in various television projects, including executive producing the documentary series McCartney 321 in 21. McCartney 321. I don't know if I think I've heard that before. So many interesting things. Feelings. I just want to make good music. When someone listens to my doesn't care about the audience because audience doesn't know what they like. Audience only knows what's come before. When someone listens to the music, they should be thinking this is the best thing I've ever heard and not know why. Okay. Rubin maintains a relatively low public profile, focusing on his work and spiritual practices. He has shared insights into his creative process and spirituality in interviews and his book, emphasizing a holistic approach to music production. Influence on music production is profound, having worked with artists from diverse genres, from hip hop to country, metal to pop. His ability to bring out the best in artists, regardless of the style, has made him one of the most respected figures in music industry. Rick Rubin quotes. Let's go. Creativity can just be in relationship with yourself. No one else need to be in the equation. All that matters is that you are making something you love to the best of your ability here and now. If you have an idea you're excited about and you don't bring it to life, it's not uncommon for the idea to find its voice through another maker. This isn't because the other artist stole your idea, but because the idea's time has come. If you have an idea you're excited about and you don't bring it to life, it's not uncommon for the idea to find its voice through another maker. This isn't because the other artist stole your idea, but because the idea's time has come. Living life as an artist is a practice. You're either engaging in the practice or you are not. It makes no sense to say you are not good at it. It's like saying I'm not good at being a monk. You're either living as a monk or you are not. In terms of priority, inspiration comes first. You come next. The audience comes last. Inspiration comes first. You come next. The audience comes last. Turning something from an idea into a reality can make it seem smaller. It changes from unearthly to earthly. The imagination has no limits. The physical world does. The work exists in both. Turning something from an idea into a reality can make it seem smaller. It changes from unearthly to earthly. The imagination has no limits, the physical world does. The work exists in both. Oscar Wilde said that some things are too important to be taken seriously. Art is one of those things. Setting the bar low, especially to get started, frees you to play, explore, and test without attachment to results. Some things are too important to be taken seriously. Art is one of those things. Setting the bar low, especially to get started, frees you to play, explore, and test without attachment to results. My job is to look for balance. I have a theory. What seems imbalanced to us, whether orally or visually, comes from a distant, primal memory of something in nature. What seems imbalanced to us, whether orally or visually, comes from a distant, primal memory of something in nature. I never decide if an idea is good or bad until I try it. So much of what gets in the way of things being good is thinking that we know. I never decide if an idea is good or bad until I try it. So much of what gets in the way of things being good is thinking that we know. I've always been an outsider. When I did magic, I was the only kid. When I worked with Johnny Cash, I was completely out of place in Nashville. And when I started Def Jam, I was the only white guy in the hip hop world. The ability to look deeply is a root of creativity. By the way, that would make a really good YouTube title. I was the only white guy in the hip hop world. The ability to look deeply is the root of creativity. The ability to look deeply is the root of creativity, to see past the ordinary and mundane and get to what might otherwise be invisible. The ability to look deeply is the root of creativity, to see past the ordinary and mundane and get to what might otherwise be invisible. The ability to look deeply is the root of creativity, to see past the ordinary and mundane and get to what might otherwise be invisible. Think of the universe as an eternal, creative unfolding. Think of the universe, think of the universe as an eternal, creative unfolding. We are all participating in a larger creative act. We are not conducting, we are being conducted. We are all participating in a larger creative act. We are not conducting, we are being conducted. Think of the universe as an eternal, creative unfolding. The mission is to complete the project so you can move on to the next. The mission is to complete the project so you can move on to the next. All art is a work in progress. All art is a work in progress. We're not playing to win, we're playing to play. We're not playing to win, we are playing to play. Gratitude can also help. Doubting the quality of your work might at times help to improve it. Creativity is a fundamental aspect of being human. It's our birthright. To create is to being something, is to bring something into existence that wasn't there before. There's a time for certain ideas to arrive, and they find a way to express themselves through us. There's a time for certain ideas to arrive, and they find a way to express themselves through us. When looking for a solution to a creative problem, pay close attention to what's happening around you. When looking for a solution to a creative problem, pay close attention to what's happening around you. The objective is not to learn to mimic greatness, but to calibrate our internal meter for greatness. The objective is not to learn to mimic greatness, but to calibrate our internal meter for greatness. Innocence brings forth innovation. Innocence brings forth innovation. The objective is not to learn to mimic greatness, but to calibrate our internal meter for greatness. Talent is the ability to let ideas manifest themselves through you. Talent is the ability to let ideas manifest themselves through you. Train yourself to see the awe behind the obvious. Ask yourself as many what if questions as you can. Failure is the information you need to get where you're going. Failure is the information you need to get where you're going. Criticism allows us to engage with our work in a new way. We may agree or we may double down on our original instincts. Hanging on to your work is like spending years writing the same entry in a diary. Choosing to live in scarcity leads to stagnation. If we work on one project forever, we never get to make another. Choosing to live in scarcity leads to stagnation. If we work on one project forever, we never get to make another. Your old work isn't better than your new work, and your new work isn't better than the old. Your old work isn't better than your new work, and your new work isn't better than the old. It's just work. The recognition of abundance fills us with hope that our brightest ideas still await us and our greatest work is yet to come. The recognition of abundance fills us with hope that our brightest ideas still await us and our greatest work is yet to come. Measurement of greatness is subjective, like art itself. There is no hard metric. If you're immediately turned off by an experience, it's worth examining why. Powerful reactions often indicate deeper wells of meaning. Powerful reactions often indicate deeper wells of meaning. If inspiration does not come to lead the way, we show up anyway. Living in discovery is at all times preferable to living through assumptions. If inspiration does not come to lead the way, we show up anyway. Living in discovery is at all times preferable to living through assumptions. Do what you can with what you have, nothing more is needed. Sharing art is the price of making it. Exposing your vulnerability is the fee. Sharing art is the price of making it. Exposing your vulnerability is the fee. Competition serves the ego. Cooperation supports the highest outcome. Competition serves the ego. Cooperation supports the highest outcome. Cooperation supports Cooperation supports the highest outcome. The imagination has no limits, the physical world does. The work exists in both. If you are open and stay tuned to what's happening, the answers will be revealed. If you are open and stay tuned to what's happening, the answers will be revealed. Living in discovery is at all times preferable to living through assumptions. When we don't yet know where we are going, we don't wait, we move forward in the dark. When we don't yet know where we are going, we don't wait, we move forward in the dark. When we don't yet know where we are going, we don't wait, we move forward in the dark. There is no single path. Believe in the process. Create no matter what. Don't expect to make a living off it. Study nature. Study yourself. There is no single path. Believe in the process. Create no matter what. Don't expect to make a living off it. Study nature. Study yourself. I never decide if an idea is good or bad until I try it. So much of what gets in the way of things being good is thinking that we know. This is really good. When we don't know where we are going, we don't wait. We move forward in the dark. I've done that so many times. Just move forward in the dark. You're just confused where you're going, but you just hope that you will get somewhere. When we don't know where we are going, we don't wait. We move forward in the dark. I never decide if an idea is good or bad until I try it. So much of what gets in the way of things being good is thinking that we know. I've gotten to work with amazing people. I would say usually we get to a point before we get into the studio where there isn't that sense of anxiety or nervousness of who they are, because I don't think it would be as productive in the studio if that was the case. If it's your best in this moment, that's the best it can be. Tomorrow your best may be completely different. Work as hard as you can to be able to do your best. Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin. If you can quantify it, it's not sacred. Wow, 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 wow. He's definitely talking about a lot of the feeling stuff because he's not following, yeah, he's just following feeling. Rick Piero. This is Rick Rubin. His net worth is 300 million. He has no technical skills, but he has great taste. He's my hero. And I'm decisive. What do you get paid for? The confidence that I have in my taste and my ability to express what I feel has proven helpful for artists. The way he closes his eyes and he's like, the confidence in my taste. Rick Rubin, a man with no technical skills, a man with no technical skills or musical ability who had nothing but his music taste. This basically describes everyone on music Twitter, but he made millions because of it. So no wonder you all hate him so much. What are your thoughts on what he has to say? Audience comes last. Rick Rubin's pivot to creativity coaching, LinkedIn, TikTok, influencer, bestseller guy is just a symptom of there being a dwindling market for actual creative works. Whoa, whoa, whoa. People actually hate him. I just started Rick Rubin's Creative Act because of its popularity and it's so mediocre. Endless generalizations about humanity and art history that lacks any depth or scholarship. Whenever something gets this popular, I have to remember most people don't read widely. So I haven't read the book yet. I've just picked up random pages, but it's new information. It's net new information. I still don't know. I don't know if I can judge this book yet. This book has definitely been sold a lot. The cover is nice, very stoic, very minimalistic. American record producer and music executive, widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in modern music. Born Frederick J. Rubin, Long Island, New York, co founded Def Jam. Production style is often described as hands off yet deeply intuitive. He focuses on capturing an artist's essence rather than imposing a signature sound. This has led to both praise and criticism. Some, like Slipknot's Corey Taylor, have called him overrated for his minimal presence in the studio, while others credit his approach for unlocking their best work. Beyond producing, he served as co-president of Columbia Records from 2007 to 2012 and wrote The Creative Act. 23. A best-selling book exploring creativity as a universal practice. He won 9 Grammy Awards, been named one of Time's 100 most influential people, and remains a sought-after collaborator. Lives in Malibu with his wife, Muriel Hurtado Herrera, and their son. Producing iconic albums across hip hop, Jay-Z, Kanye West, heavy metal, Metallica, Slayer, alternative rock, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, country, Johnny Cash, pop, Adele, Lady Gaga. His work with Johnny Cash on American Recordings series starting in '94 revitalized Cash's career and earned multiple Grammy awards. His creative philosophy. Creativity, creativity is a fundamental human trait, not a rarefied gift reserved for a select few. He sees it as a process of tapping into something universal and authentic, often emphasizing simplicity, intuition, and emotional resonance over technical perfection or overproduction. Authentic, often emphasizing simplicity, intuition, and emotional resonance over technical perfection or overproduction. His approach is laid out widely in his 2023 book, which reads more like a meditative guide than a traditional music producer's memoir. Rubin believes the artist's role is to serve as a conduit, channeling inspiration from a mysterious, almost spiritual source, what he calls the infinite or the universe. He's less interested in dictating a sound and more focused on stripping away distractions to reveal what's essential. This is why his production style often involves paring down arrangements. Think Johnny Cash's sparse, haunting American records, recordings, tracks, or the raw energy of the Beastie Boys licensed to 3. Kill? Ill. He said, I don't make music, I help artists make their music, reflecting his view that his job is to facilitate, not impose. He's big on instinct over intellect. Rubin doesn't read music or play instruments proficiently, yet he trusts his gut to guide decisions. He'll ask questions like, does this feel right? Or is this true to you? Rather than leaning on technical jargon. This can frustrate some artists. Slipknot's Corey Taylor once griped about Rubin's hands off vibe, but it's also unlocked brilliance, like pushing the Red Hot Chili Peppers to dig deeper on Blood Sugar Sex Magic. He's less about micromanaging and more about creating a space where artists can surprise themselves. Instinct over intellect. Doesn't read music or play instruments proficiently, yet he trusts his gut to guide decisions. This can frustrate some artists. Rubin also embraces constraints as a creative tool. He argues that limits, whether time, resources, or simplicity, force sharper focus and clarity. His work with Kanye West on Jesus exemplifies this. A chaotic process whittled down to a stark industrial sound in the final weeks. He's not afraid of imperfection either. He values the humanity in a cracked voice or a rough take if it carries real feeling. He sees creativity as a lifelong practice, not a destination. He writes about staying open, curious, and unattached to outcomes, almost like a Zen approach. He meditates daily, keeps a minimalist lifestyle, beard, bare feet, and all, and frames his work as a collaboration with the unknown. So I have to check out Kanye West Jesus. Let's see. Kanye West is a wild tale of chaos, instinct, and last minute magic. Classic Rubin territory. Sharp left turn from Kanye's early work. 5 week countdown. Kanye brought Rubin into the Yeezus project late, about 5 weeks before the album's deadline. What Rubin found was a mess. Kanye had been working in Paris with producers like Daft Punk, Jesaf, Stein, and Mike Dean, amassing hours of material that felt sprawling and unfocused. Rubin described it as multiple directions, multiple songs, multiple concepts. With the clock ticking, Def Jam reportedly gave Kanye a hard cutoff. Rubin agreed to help, but only if they could strip it down to something raw and cohesive. Kanye, trusting Rubin's track record, gave him the reins to slash and burn. To reduce it to the essence mantra, philosophy of simplicity kicked into overdrive. He and Kanye holed up at Shangri-La Studios in Malibu, his creative sanctuary, and started hacking away. pushed Kanye to ditch layers of polish and aim for a punk like immediacy. One famous example, Bound 2, which started as a lush track, got stripped to its bones, leaving that skeletal beat and soul sample. Rubin later said they cut about 75% of what Kanye initially brought, boiling 15 to or 20 unfinished tracks into 10 lean, jagged ones. Kanye called it making it 80% better by making it 80% less. The studio chaos and couch naps. The sessions were a whirlwind. Kanye worked in real time bursts of inspiration, often rewriting lyrics or tweaking beats on the fly, while Rubin played the calm center. Producer Mike Dean recalled Rubin napping on a couch mid session, seemingly detached, only to wake up, listen, and drop a single laser sharp suggestion like, take out that synth. It drove some of the team nuts, but Kanye vibed with it. Rubin's chill guru act balanced Kanye's frenetic energy. One engineer said it was like watching a mad genius and his Zen master wrestle the album into shape. Watching a mad genius and a Zen master wrestle the album into shape. The I Am In It breakthrough. A standout track, I Am In It captures Rubin's influence in action. Originally, it was overloaded with elements typical Kanye maximalism. Rubin urged Kanye to gut it, leaving just a grinding beat, 80 samples, and his unhinged vocals. Then, in a flash of spontaneity, Kanye added Assassin's dance hall verse and Justin Vernon's warped croon, recorded days before the deadline. Rubin loved the rawness. He told the Daily Beast that they kept pushing until it felt emotionally honest, even if it wasn't polished. The final 48-hour crunch, with the album due to Def Jam, Jesus was still unfinished. Rubin and Kanye pulled a 48-hour marathon at Shangri-La, mixing and sequencing right up to the wire. Rubin admitted they handed over incomplete. Some tracks like Onside were still being tweaked as files uploaded. He told later Zane Lowe he wished they would had one more month, but the chaos birthed something primal. Kanye, meanwhile, thrived on the pressure, seeing it as a proof of Rubin's constraint-driven philosophy. Jesus clocked in at 40 minutes short and sharp with a sound pitchfork called hostile, abrasive, and intentionally in your face. Critics were split. Some hailed it as visionary, others found it jarring, but it's since been lauded as a game changer with Rubin's fingerprints all over its stark DNA. Kanye later said Rubin delivered me from overthinking, a testament to how Rubin's gut driven, less is more ethos turn a sprawling mess into a cultural gut punch. Delivered me from overthinking. Delivered me from overthinking. What have other artists said about Rick Rubin? Kanye. Kanye's all praise, calling Rubin the greatest. In a 2013 New York Times interview, he credits Rubin with teaching him reductionism, saying Rick Rubin was like, yo, just make it raw, make it honest. It delivered me from overthinking. Kanye's leaned on Rubin's ability to cut through the noise even if their Yeezus crunch time was chaotic. Johnny Cash, 94 Rolling Stone piece, he said Rick saw something in me that I didn't see in myself anymore. He appreciated Rubin's push to record stark personal songs like Hurt in his living room, reviving his career. The bond was deep. Rubin's credited with giving Cash a final profound chapter. Rick saw something in me that I didn't see in myself anymore. Anthony, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Kiedis has called Rubin a wizard in 2006 Spin interview. He said Rubin's knack for getting inside your head helped the band tap into their rawest energy, especially during the 91 sessions at the mansion. But he also noted Rubin's intensity. Living with him for months was like being in a creative pressure cooker. Corey Taylor, Slipknot, famously salty about Rubin. In a 2017 Loudwire rant, he called him overrated and overpaid, griping that Rubin barely showed up during Volume Three's 2004 recording, claiming he sent assistants instead. Taylor felt Rubin took credit for work others did, though he admitted the album turned out solid despite it. Tom Petty, Wildflowers, love hate thing with Rubin. 94 Mojo interview, he praised Rubin's ear, saying he hears things I don't, like a song Soul. But in 2007 Dark, Running Down a Dream, Petty admitted clashing over Rubin's slow pace and perfectionism, one snapping, I'm not cutting that vocal again. Wildflowers is a classic, and Petty valued the result. Jay-Z, succinct but glowing. 2003 MTV interview, he said Rubin brings the vibe and makes you comfortable to be yourself. The 99 Problem session was quick and loose. Rubin blasting beats, Jay spinning bars, and Jay dug how Rubin kept it real, not overproduced. Adele, more reserved but positive. In 2015 Time interview, she said Rubin knows how to capture a moment. She worked with him on Love in the Dark, and while she didn't use all his takes, she admired his patience and focus on emotional truth, even if their styles didn't fully mesh. James, Metallica, Death Magnetic, Fan, telling Rolling Stone that Rubin stripped us down to what Metallica is. He liked Rubin's push to ditch overdubs and play live, though he chuckled about Rubin's couch naps and one word feedback. Take out the synth during sessions. It worked. Death Magnetic brought back their edge. Dan, the Black Keys. NPR chat said Rubin's like a coach. He doesn't play the game, but he gets you ready. He's like a coach. He doesn't play the game, but he gets you ready. Working on Brothers, he found Rubin's suggestions subtle but pivotal, like tweaking a drum sound to shift a song's feel. The through line, artists often highlight Rubin's ability to peel back layers and find their core, whether they love his guru-like calm or find it maddeningly vague. His detractors focus on his light touch as a flaw, while fans see it as liberation. It's a polarizing paradox. Rubin's barely there, yet his impact's undeniable. Alright, that's the stream. This was good. This was good.